farm count is a lot of those probes. So the army is about equal size, but Mute definitely pulling ahead in his economy. And these Banshees, Pain does now see the gold expansion, but not going to be able to do too much damage, as the Phoenix and a ton of Stalkers are going to be holding it off and pushing those Banshees back. And poor Banshees about to get fried by that single Phoenix as well. Meanwhile, Pain definitely securing down his part of the map, and about to take his gold expansion, but he's quite a bit behind, and we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to catch up. He right now still focusing on that Hellion, that tech, the Hellion, the tanks, getting just a whole bunch of tanks out there. Now finally taking his 4th base, as his main's about to get mined out, but hopefully if he can hold on to this for long enough. And you know, just wondering what Mute is waiting for, maybe a critical mass of Colossus, although that Colossus running into this line of tanks are just going to fall pretty quickly. Meanwhile, I see on the map that Pain, and I really like his use of the sensor towers right here, Pain can tell that there's some units just kind of waiting there too, as well as this sensor tower, which has this huge spread, could almost see into the base of Mute. Meanwhile, Mute just throwing down a ton of gateways right now, and even throwing down a fleet beacon. So we're going to be seeing him transition over to battle cruise. Oh, not battle cruise. I'm sorry. Carrier soon. While Pain, meanwhile, Ghost Academy up and running. Is he going to research nuke and throw down a few starports of his own? Looks like he's going to be going into some sort of air battle as well. We'll see whether or not he goes Vikings, or I have seen him go battle cruisers as well too later on. And now throwing down, Pain has some extra money, I think, so going to be throwing down 2 command centers, which I'm pretty sure he's going to be morphing into planetary fortresses now that they're all the way out here. Meanwhile, setting up his 3rd base, or his 4th base, but you know, as this one gets mined out, he's going to be going off 3 bases. Both players now pulling in a lot of minerals, so they should be able to bulk up their army very, very quickly. Looking at the army count, though, Pain has been a bit slow, I guess, just building a lot more buildings than units, and Mute now still coming out ahead, has a bunch of Zerglings, has a bunch of Zealots. Wow, my brain is getting a little fried just kind of watching this non-action. So big standoff in the middle. I'm going to be replacing the Protoss names with Zerg names, and now Mute going to be saturating his expansions as well up here. So both players taking control of their map. Mute still ahead, but here comes the push by Mute, and just curious whether or not, yes, Pain sees that coming, knows that it's coming from the north. I don't think this is a good composition for Mute. Far too many Colossus to battle against this tank army, and I mean, Pain doesn't have that much, but with only 2 Immortals here to absorb it, Pain's just going to set up a whole bunch of tanks and just kind of fry these. Just watch this army drop dramatically. And Pain, even though he has the smaller army count, has a much better composition of units, even having that lone Viking taking out those Colossus. So now Pain ahead, Pain significantly ahead. Right now, it looks like Mute only has 2 Stalkers, 5, but what does he have in production? He has 5 carriers in production. Wow. I mean, if he can get these out in time, he should be okay, because Pain really doesn't have that much anti-air right now. Meanwhile, Pain has 2 battle cruisers in production, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold off 5 carriers. It should be pretty interesting, although Pain does have a combination right now of the battle cruisers and the Vikings going down. So Pain now sieging up, going to do as much damage as possible. Has a cloaked ghost, has the nuke. The nuke is, I think Mute has to try to retreat, but a nice 2-pronged attack by Pain. And these pylons are not going to be doing any good whatsoever. I don't think Mute saw this, and maybe he wasn't able to hit the spacebar in time, but boom! Wow, all the harvesters just drop like crazy. Although, wow, look at Mute. Mute has 107 harvesters. That is crazy. I think he's just going to be going pretty much strictly harvester, and here come the carriers. These tanks are just going to go straight down. Pain now, I think, realizing, wow, like, did not expect him to go transition to carriers like that. I mean, I know that Pain has transitioned himself over to battle cruisers, but this is a whole bunch of carriers out in the field. We have 5 carriers now. Payne, meanwhile, getting his battle cruisers out here, gonna be able to try to put up some sort of defense, but you know, these carriers are a pretty menacing force and gonna be moving over, taking out Payne's expansion. A smart move by Mute to try to knock out the expansions, although these carriers are ultra slow right now. And Payne, though, have his battle cruisers, not massing the Vikings, but trying to do a combined split between the two, is probably going to find himself in some trouble. Might be switching. No, he's going to commit to the battle cruisers, and does have several starports pumping out those Vikings. Right now, not super efficient. I think he's just trying to hit V. I think they changed. One of the things about Starcraft 2 that kind of changed in the beta was the way that units are being rallied right now. Well, there's a sneaky unit right here. Mew trying to sneak in some warps right here, and will he be able to? Looks like he did make it through. Now opening up, and here come the Zealots with the Zealot legs, and going to be able to take out the remainder of these SCVs here, which are a ton. Payne hasn't really transitioned and moved these SCVs out, so kind of been having to fight a multiple front war. And here come the carriers while the Zealots are hitting the back. Great timing by Mute to do that and try to have Payne run his units into his base and run him out. Right now, just these four. We got 3 Vikings right here. The Thor is going to be able to do some damage. A ton more Vikings out right now. But what is that? 10 carriers by Mute. And with the 11 Vikings and the 4 battle cruisers, we'll see whether or not Payne can hold this off. Trying to focus fire as much as he can onto the battle cruisers. Has wiped them out, but is losing a significant amount himself. Down to 3 battle cruisers, but being reinforced behind by those 5. I think this army is not looking good. Wow, just a ton more battle cruisers. All that Mute has are battle cruisers and probes right now, and he's just mining like crazy. His income is still really high, although he is starting to slip a little bit behind Payne, who's doing a great job, I think, still throwing down his mules, I assume. Either that, or it looks like, oh wow, I mean, oh yeah, that's right, Payne had taken out that Gold Expo, so that Gold Expo for Payne doing a great job keeping things in check. Meanwhile, Payne just going to be using the rest of his tanks to try to do some damage with them, because they're going to be pretty much useless against these carriers for the rest of the game. So Payne now having his hunting party with just 2 Vikings, 2 battle cruisers, and a Thor, but Mute just has far too many far too many carriers right now, and Payne unable to take that down. Needs to kind of get a critical mass. Having 2 battle cruisers is just going to fall down far too fast. They're not going to be able to get off almost any damage before they get taken down. As we see here, we're doing a 1-for-1 trade, but this battle cruiser is going to fall before he can even take out the shields. Meanwhile, Mute actually switching up to DTs. I'm going to be using the DTs to harass while he uses the battle cruisers as his main army. And Payne now going to be in a good amount of trouble. Nothing to defend here. You know, can detect it, but just his army is focusing on trying to take down these battle cruisers. Mute's going to split his army a little bit and kind of test the waters in the front. Payne now just trying everything he can to go anti-air, but it looks like, yeah, these DTs are just going to tear it up over here. And now, things not looking very good for Painuser at the moment. Does have these Vikings coming out, but they're being rallied somewhere. That's not a good rally. Rally now no longer on attack move, just on move. So they won't really attack until they get shot at, and just going to walk one by one into those carriers. Meanwhile, looks like, you know, Mute has very strong macro game going on. Able to Saturate has a ton more Harvester, so looks like we're going to be seeing a GG from Payne pretty soon now, as these carriers are just ripping through, and even more carriers on the way with more DTs into Payne's base. And there it is, the GG from Payne. So a great game from both players. Mute definitely showing the power of Protoss macro, and oh no, I guess this was in some sort of tournament structure, so Payne wanting some sort of rematch, but unable to get it for the time being. So great game by both users. Good to see that. Good to see the tech up to a battlecruiser carrier combo. Payne with a great use of his nuke right here to wipe out this expo. So this has been another broadcast by JCS Starcraft, and I am signing off.